Welcome to Law and Society. Please subscribe. And let's talk about the Dog and Pony Show. By the Dog and Pony Show, I mean the drama that's happening with what's in the White House and influencers of the White House. And the image that Republicans portray that they are fractured or there's, infighting. And I want to sort of set the record straight here. The conflicts between Elon and Donald Trump's cabinet. We heard a lot of bluster about that, giving right-wing or left-wing media and independent journalists a lot to talk about when it comes to what internal problems they're having. But don't forget that Marco Rubio adopted Doge's and Elon Musk's recommendations and cut 83% of U.S. aid programs that were part of the previous U.S. aid, list of programs to take care of all around the world. This is about this is about payment of HIV prevention, other infectious disease prevention, starvation in drought-ridden countries, and this is where that money was going to go. And now those programs have been eliminated because Marco Rubio adopted Elon Musk's recommendations, or whatever you want to call it, from Doge and Elon Musk. So don't tell me that there's division in the MAGA party. There's news about people not liking Elon Musk, and then there's drama and all this showing that they are fractured, like Elon Musk and Bannon sort of having this huge fight and not liking one another. They portray that they hate each other, and they very well might. But you know what's funny? They both made the Hitler salute. And they both shield Donald Trump in whatever way they can while buttering up Donald Trump to adopt their agenda. So they may show that they are fractured. They may show that they are having dysfunction in their caucus. But when the time comes, they get their act together, and all the ducks line up in a row. But then when you look at the Democrats, they don't necessarily do that. They stand on principle. They stand on, this ideological thing that they're not going to let the government shut down. And let this example of 10 senators signing this continuing resolution that aims to cut critical programs and that does not address any of the issues or the budget. It's a stopgap bill that goes until September. So why not have a shorter stopgap bill of a month that was just a continuation exactly of the previous continuing resolution, and then there be an actual budget that they can come up with. Yes, I understand the bigger worker, the rationale, government shutdown is never all right. But and Chuck Schumer's rationale is that shutting down the government would give Donald Trump the opportunity to furlough workers and then create this skeletal government that he believes, and Donald and Elon Musk and Doge believe, will serve the federal government the best, which is essentially, in a shutdown, there's a group of essential workers who are not let go of. So they're not furloughed. They have to keep on working. So there is this risk of Donald Trump furloughing everybody keeping the essential staff, and then even when the government got back up and running, he would not recall those furloughed workers wouldn't get to come back because, the shutdown did the job for him. But my question to Senator Schumer and Fetterman and the other 8 senators is that isn't that what Donald Trump is doing to begin with? Lawsuits would ensue if Donald Trump just fired the furloughed workers during a shutdown. There would be employment lawyers, there would be employment lawsuits, there would be causes of action, the same way that there are causes of action now for indiscriminate cutting of government agencies and laying off government workers. So what have we really changed? Just not giving Republicans the opportunity to say that Democrats shut the government down? That's the fear to which Democrats, at least 10 of them, caved and enabled debating to stop and the filibuster process to stop and let it go to a final vote where the budget passes. It's a great day for the government because the budget has passed and now, the continuing resolution has passed. But what is that going to bring? They've already gotten some concessions in this continuing resolution. So, and they're going to keep on doing their hatchet job. Democrats are not making a fuss about the fact that Donald Trump and MAGA has neutered Congress. And this helps in them neutering Congress. So Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has neutered the Democratic caucus by doing this, by showing no resistance. Under normal circumstances, you could blame Democrats for the shutdown. But in this circumstance, it was perhaps wise to shut the government down and let Donald Trump build the skeleton crew and then start with lawsuits that were going to happen anyway of furloughed workers being fired because that's wrongful termination. So this dog and pony show of disunity in Republicans is not true, and we need to stop playing that game. But the disunity and the disharmony in the Democratic Party is becoming louder and clearer by the day. And that's why I say that we need new leadership in the Senate, and we need more vocal leadership in the House. Hakeem Jeffries needs to be louder about those things. Yeah, he's put a message out of how he, was completely rejecting the Senate's sort of move, but there's nothing he can do. The House already passed it. So why did he allow even one Democrat in his caucus to vote with that? Why did they not lobby enough Republicans like Massey to vote against it? Or enough Republicans for their own self-interest like Rand Paul to be able to shut down the vote? It just makes you wonder, we are in a crisis moment right now where this particular show of weakness is disheartening to the entire Democratic Party. And what we are going to see is an enabling of Donald Trump. Are we going to come up with the proper budget by September? Not if we keep on enabling Donald Trump's little by little changes to continuing resolutions to be able to fit his agenda. This gives them 6 more months to build that agenda and plug it into another continuing resolution instead of having a proper budget and job security for federal workers. So we're in a mess, And Democrats have sort of allowed that mess to perpetuate. And I don't see how that is beneficial politically. Because this shutdown wouldn't have been a Democratic shutdown. This shutdown would have been a shutdown to save the country and to be able for Donald Trump to play out his antics and then for the government to restart and then be able to address that manic behavior. But here we're going to just allow that manic behavior to continue, and we're going to be okay with indiscriminate cuts, no rhyme or rhythm, no method or procedure is being followed, no case-by-case analysis, no review that is followed that, that civil servants, federal workers are entitled to. So it's just going to flood the courts even more. And what is to say that Donald Trump will not comply with those orders? He very well might not. So I'm a little sick of the dog and pony show with this shutdown business that's happened several times now. And if there isn't a budget by September, then I don't think that, our country is going to be moving in a direction that would benefit anybody. Because, even if there's a budget, it's ominous now with Republican majorities and Democratic minorities laying down their defenses to be able to enable what Donald Trump wants to accomplish with our country. And this action by Chuck Schumer and 9 other Democrats says to the MAGA party, yeah, walk all over us. We'll just let you walk all over us. Because MAGA will be able to say, oh, this was a bipartisan bill. And that does not help the Democrats politically one bit. With that said, thank you so much for listening. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll talk to you very soon. Take care, everybody.